What kind of sports did you play?
Well, we played guinea when I was young at the school. When I first went to grade school, we used to play guinea. We played baseball.
What's guinea?
Guinea is a forerunner of hockey. Hockey 1, hockey 2, hockey 3. That little thing, it was shaped almost like an egg with pointed ends on it. You lay it on the ground, you'd hit it and flip up and you'd knock it. And I used to play it out by the old schoolhouse out on a diamond. We'd get a pretty good size one, probably big as around. In the middle is the egg, or a little bigger. And it would point it off like that when you hit that end and flip straight in the air. Then you'd hit it with the hockey club or the guinea club. And one of them, a guy just older than me, James F. Hunter's son, we were playing it one day, and they hit that thing and he was close by, and that puck, they called it the puck, hit him right straight in the temple, killed him dead. So that finished that game. They wouldn't play it anymore at the school.
And that happened right there at Taylor
Right
School?
there at Taylor School. James F. Hunter's son, young Jimmy Hunter's son, who went to Las Vegas and started gambling and got in debt so bad they made him go to work at one of the casinos. And in 3 years he was running the casino. But it was his brother that got killed. Mm-hmm. But we used to, in the wintertime, we'd do ice skating. And now this is pertaining to school, my school day. After we got a little older, we had a bobsleigh and a horse. We had a big thoroughbred horse we used to take to school, and we had this short sleigh. We'd get out in the middle of this ball diamond over there when there was about 1.5 feet, 2 feet of snow. We'd take that old horse, and we had a good set of shoes on him, and somebody'd get on his back and ride him, hooked to the sleigh, and the guys would get on the sleigh, and he could run in a circle and speed up, see how long that guy could stay on the sleigh. That was our noon hour fun, a lot of noon hours. You'd be surprised how fast that horse was and how quick he could slip somebody off that sleigh. That was some of the stuff. In the summertime, we did a lot of swimming, and when they got a little older, we used to go down to Rob Hall's on a Sunday and round up his steers and get them in the corral and have a rodeo amongst us. Mel Peterson and George and me and the Hadley boys and the Hull boys used to go down there. We'd have a lot of Sundays we'd go down there and have a big rodeo. Down in Hull's, they had a big swimming pond down there that they dug it down about 15 feet deep. And we used to go down there during the week and go swimming. And it was all from that well water. And it was ice cold water. And you had to be careful. If you didn't get yourself tempered to it, you go dive in, you may not ever come up. Mm-hmm. I dove in one time and a little close to the edge. And when I dove down, I didn't get my hands out in front of me quick enough. And I stuck my head in the mud right up to there, in that blue mud. And I couldn't get loose. I kept trying to push myself loose. Finally, I got my feet down and by my head and pulled my head out of the mud, or I wouldn't have made it. I've had a lot of close calls. And we used to hunt rabbits in the wintertime, we made our own entertainment. We didn't have any until we got a little older and we got to high school. Then we used to go to White City to dances. And then they used to, every one of these little towns around here would have 1 or 2 dances a week. On a Friday night or a Wednesday night or Friday night or Saturday night, you could find someplace else to go dance. And we used to dance a lot. And they had a lot of good orchestras. You guys don't know what good times are. Have no idea what. Those things that we did to make entertainment for ourselves was real entertainment.
Did you ever play football or basketball or anything?
Oh yeah, we played basketball. We got a little older, we used to go down to the old Ward Hall and play basketball. One time Jim was driving a horse, and we used to get in this old sleigh and go down to church to play basketball, and we'd take the principal, who was our coach, down with us. And we used right close by there where Kelowna lives now. There was a big watering trough there. Well, we was coming home and Jim was driving, and the little bugger'd always drive the horse as fast as he could go. So this particular day was coming back from noon hour, and we got right there by their gate, and Jim wasn't watching. He's always tee-heeing, and that horse went in that gate to get a drink, and the old principal was sitting on the back of the sleigh, and when he went in that gate, down the road he was sliding on his butt. It wouldn't have killed him. But we used to have a lot of crazy things happen. But that was the kind of entertainment that you enjoyed. And we used to have, we got a little older, we used to have house parties. Bunch of kids get together at somebody's house, play games, anything to. But when I was real young at home, it'd get pretty lonely in the wintertime when we was kids with nothing much to do. And that's what forced you to do a lot of things that was meaningful things.
I think that's true. That's really right. Did you watch any sports? Did you have a favorite team?
There was not too much. There was no way to watch any team because there was no television. There was no.
What about radio and baseball?
Radio never come on till after I was married.
Oh, okay.
Radio, phonographs. After I was married, yes. But in my younger days, we played. We had the farm beer baseball and stuff like that we used to have in the summertime. And little basketball they played within the wards in the church. But to watch television, we didn't have television. Didn't have radio.
Did you, after you were married, did you follow a particular team?
I always liked to support the winner.
The winner, huh?
The guy who was winning. No, I used to pick some that was my favorites and watch them. But I was so darn busy after getting married trying to make a living that I didn't have time to do a lot of that. When you got 4 or 5 kids, you don't sit on your butt looking to television.
Really?
Nowadays it only takes 2. However, one of Dad's brothers, Ted, did play for a semi-pro team, well, the farm team, so to speak. It was the Ogden Reds. And
But he's like 12, 15 years younger than me, so.
Right, yeah.
Totally different things.
But he played for for Utah State, and it was really good. Left-hander, first baseman, and then he came and played for what they called the Ogden Reds, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your own brother was a really good ball player. Giovanni was good at ball. Him and Ron Larkin and a bunch of those guys, we used to follow them around after he got big enough to play ball. And you know what he used to do? When I'd go to work up at the railroad, I'd say, "Now, Giovanni," he'd say, "Well, I want to go play ball today, Saturday." "Okay, you get this much work done." And I'd always assign him just a little extra to make him either hustle or he couldn't go. You know what he'd do? He'd call all of his friends that played ball with him. "Hey, I got to get these beets hoed or I can't go play ball today." I'd come home, I'd call up and I said, "Where's Giovanni? Gone to play ball. Did he finish the beets?" "I don't know." Finally, I got the story out of him. They wasn't telling me what they was doing. But he used to work it pretty slick.
Pretty smart. Yep.
Do you follow a sports team now?
Oh, yeah.
Who do you follow now? The winner, yeah.
University of Utah, BYU and the Jazz. I'm for Utah. What the crap?
That's right.
As good as any.
Okay.
Just to let you know before going, sorry, most of these are school days, just so that's what you have in your mind is school, but that's fine.
Mine says, how about now?
That's fine, Wanted to let you know what the topic was here today.
Okay, Lynn.
Okay, were you ever in any clubs, like a drama club, speech, a pep club, or glee club, or anything like that in your school days?
Well, you didn't call them clubs. You called them essay contests. And whenever one come up, I'd get in it. I've still got papers over there that are essays that I wrote and won. And pretty near every time we'd go, either me or Jim would be one of the winners. They usually took 3 to go compete with other schools. And either me or Jim, every time, one of us. And the little bugger used to copy some of my stuff. He was a smoothie. But clubs, yes, we had scouts. Used to go, had scouts. And that was another thing we did for entertainment when I was young. We didn't have any. So over here back of Allen Barrett's down in there, there used to be big patch of willows. And we were kids, we went there and built a big log cabin. And we got into mischief a little bit. We'd go there and have chicories. I ain't going to tell you whose chickens we used to have.
Probably a good thing.
What about FFA?
Well, when I got in high school, yes, I belonged to Future Farmers America. And all 3 years that we was in there, we had, one year we took pigs in contest. We had geese, we had hens in the laying contest. And whatever we had on the place, geese, turkeys. And we always had to come home with 2 or 3 or 4 blue ribbons. But Jim and I was on the judging team. Jim was on the judging team to judge livestock. And I can walk into a corral and I'll right now into a corral of cattle, and I'll compare my notes as to what that qualification to that animal is with the best of them, because we really learn how to judge and value cattle and horses and pork, all the animals, chickens, everything. There was a certain fine point you had to look for. How long is their back? What is the width of the hips on the animal? The wide hips, deep, wide back ends indicates several things. One, that the animal is a more meat productive animal. They're healthier for milk. They give more milk. And the other thing is the big wide animals tapered for dairy, tapered down to a small narrow front, and it was easier calving. All those things you had to know.
What about your experience with Boy Scouts and Estill with Young?
I took that training for years up there with Dill Young. Went up there. He had a big training camp up back at his place, and I knew all the ins and outs of scouting. And I had after I got married, and then I had run the scout troop for a while, and then they wasn't satisfied with that. They put me in the explorers, and I run the explorer troops for 5 or 6, 7 years, didn't I, Bob?
Yeah. But I thought you had didn't you go after a merit badge once at Estill with Young's house or something like that, and had to serve a meal, or?
Well, we went up there, and I don't remember all the details, but we went up there and took the complete training. There was 2 or 3 fellas. Ray Gibson was one of them, and me, and there's a bunch of us. About 5 or 6 of us went up there. But my fondest memories of scouting was when I was explorer leader. That's a little different than scout. Explorer is advanced group in the mutual, so to say. It was in those days, and they do things a little different. They don't. They've got different ratings for them. Yeah. But I had 24 explorer boys at one time for 3 years in my group. Roger was one of them. You went with us 1 year, didn't you?
The last year.
Yeah.
I was done explorer.
And but anyway, out of them group, 24, 21 of those kids went on a mission.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah, here's one.
Yeah.
Do you have any special school memories in high school? Any certain things stand out in your mind?
Yeah. I took course from Mr. Powell. He was the course instructor. We took that, and we used to stay after school, and we'd have to walk home. I remember that, and it was pretty tough some nights when it was snowing. We were lucky enough to.
Walking uphill both ways, huh?
And but anyway, We took auto mechanics, took farm mechanics, and I remember one little funny thing that happened. I took chemistry, and in the chem lab room, me and Claude Anderson and Jim and I don't remember, there's 4 or 5 of us there. They had the tables that we worked at, and tested the different chemicals and stuff. So one day, me and Claude Anderson and Jim and I don't remember who the other one was. Kim Jacobs, he's dead now. But we started lit one of those bulbs and we started putting stuff in. Just anything we grab, dump in there. All of a sudden, shoo! Blowed a big hole in the ceiling, and that thing, the last I heard, was still there. That spot, the big spot. They tried to find out who did it. Nobody talked. They never did find out. Another time we was having a big future farmer dinner, and some of the dumb kids went down and got some gin and vodka, and they was going to spike the drinks around the end of the table, and where we was all going to sit. See. And you know what happened after they went in and spiked those drinks? That's where the dignitaries all sit. Old man Overhands, he said, if I was a drinking man, I'd swear this has been spiked. He said that to Blaylock, was the principal. And Blaylock says, I think there's something in my drink too. And they blamed it to a kid over here in Riverdale, because he was him and Riley Shaw. But us guys that was involved in it, we sat real quiet, never said nothing. They was tittering and laughing, having a lot of fun. And they've almost fired those 2 kids, Ted Zito and Riley Shaw. And they never said a word about it. We all knew who done it, but they got the blame. So he started working at the railroad the same time as I did up here at the railroad, OURD. And one day out of 33rd Street, he and I were talking, we got talking about school days. I said, do you remember that occasion? He says, yeah. He said, I'd like to catch the bugger that done that. And I said, well, I know who did, but I ain't going to tell you. You know, every time he come into that office from then on, he got after me, wanted to know who done that. I think he died not knowing. But we used to have a lot of fun out at school.
And Dad said they walked home from school. That's Weaver High School, clear up by
Shopco High?
Yeah, up by Shopco now. That's a long walk to go to choir or to stay after for sports or whatever. It's a long way to go.
Wow.
You know, if we missed a bus, Dad would say, all right, he wouldn't let us take the car to go to school when they had the old Essex, and he wouldn't let us take the car. So you know what we used to do, you know where the old house is down here? We used to walk down to Durwood's, and he'd let us take his little old whip to go to school, and we'd bring it back at night. And that's how, whenever we'd miss the bus, we had a deal worked out with him, where we had to help him do so much work to pay for using his car. But Dad never did find that out. We used to go and use his little whip to go to school and bring it back. Then we'd have to go and help him do this, that, and the other to pay for use. But Dad never did find out how we got to school.
Okay.
Hey, my question is, how did you feel about school?
Good. I had a tough time, but it was one of the best learning experiences in my life. I learned how to deal with people, deal with things. When we moved, when I started school, we were the only Italian family, us and Uncle Tony's family. The other guys, the Giorgios, were Austrians. They're not Italians, they're Austrians. But we were Italians, and we were Dagos. We were all kind of things. Used to get the hell beat out of us. As soon as I got big enough to fight good, I beat the hell out of a lot of them. And when the family grew up a little bigger, but those were learning experiences, good experiences. We used to, after Dad bought the Essex, he let us drive the old Model T Ford to school. Well, the damn kids used to try to jimmy it up on us, bugger the wiring up and everything. So one day Dad was up to old Benedict's up here in Wilson Run shop, and Dad was telling him about it. He says, "Hey Jack, I'll fix that." So he figured out a rigging that whenever we got out of the car, we just had to drop a wire on the ground that car, and the minute you touched it, it'd knock you right on your butt. And they only had to get hit a couple of times, and they left the old Model T alone. One day, a real snowy day, and they used to be jealous because we used to haul Mel Peterson, and them Peterson kids was the only ones we'd give a ride. We did to haul them to school and back, pick them up in the morning, take them home at night. So one after about 3 o'clock, we was going home one day, and all these Winnell kids and a bunch of them, there was the kind of the freaky bunch, Nielsen's. They got lined up out in front of the school, and they got big bunches of snow and snowballs and everything. And Mel Peterson was sitting right next to me, and just as we went up around the loop, these kids started throwing this snow. One big bunch lit right in front of me, and I couldn't see where I was going. And then Les Winnell over here went to throw one, and he slid right in front of the Model T. I was going pretty good clip. And all I can remember is boom-be-boom-be-boom-be-boom. Run right over the top of old Les, broke his collarbone. And about that time, George Winnell jumped up on the side of it. They had the curtains with isinglass. He jumped up on the side of the car and started poking at me, punching at me. Mel Peterson jumped up over the steering wheel, and he punched George right in the nose and knocked him clear off the truck, clear over his back. But that's the way we used to do, hang together, us and the Peterson kids. I grew up with Mary Fern's husband, Mel. Knew him, all of us together. That's why they can't tell me a damn thing about their family. I know it already.
Okay, Sue.
Okay. Describe a typical day during your high school years.
Lots of days was a pain in the butt. Other days were real good. It depends on whether I had my lessons done or what. If we had a lot of work to do home, sometimes I didn't get to do my lessons, and then that was bad days. You know that. You know bad days. And if we got our lessons and got them done, good days. And the best thing to do, I found out, is don't volunteer anything to the teacher. Keep your mouth shut and mind your business.
Still true today.
So, what time did school start? What time did you have to get up to get ready to go?
9 o'clock. I had to get up and milk 5 cows every morning. When I was 6 years old, I never started till 7. But I had to milk 5 cows every morning before I could go and have my breakfast. A lot of times I never had breakfast and go to school. And we had to walk to school. So we used to get up at 5:30. And Dad wouldn't let me. I had to go milk them 5 cows.
And where was your elementary school?
Down here where it still is.
There was no such thing as junior high, right?
No.
He went 8 grades here,
9th,
9 grades here, and then
10, 11, and 12 high school.
Wow.
I never started school till I was 7. Because my birthday school started in October, my birthday was November, so I had to wait a year. That's why Mel and I went to school together. He was 1 year younger than me. There was Vivian and Elsie. And then me, then Mel, then Jim, then George, and that's where our family, one in between. My birthday was in 14, Mel's in 15, Jim's in 16, George's in 17. That's the way our birthdays was. So we was just intermingled in everything we done.
Okay, is that all of yours, Susan? This one I think, Dad, you pretty well talked about. I'll read it, and then maybe there's some parts of it we haven't. Tell about schools attended, you said that. Special teachers, you might want to talk about some of those. friends, you've talked about some of your friends, or maybe others you'd want to talk about. What classes you took, activities, humorous situations, and achievements.
Well, there used to be a kind of funny thing. You all knew Harold Buck, but you didn't know his dad, Will Buck. He used to live back in the field over here in the old red house. Him and my granddad were friends, old friends. Both of them could cuss pretty good. Tell you how the cow ate the cabbage. But anyway, when we were going to school, Harold had a younger brother, just the same age as me, and he was very illiterate. And every school teacher or every man teacher to come in that school, he wanted to challenge him and have a showdown with him. So Adrian Gibby, and I know you know Gibby Floral out here, it was a relation of his. Adrian Gibby was a teacher, and he kept putting him off. And so finally one day he hit Gibby, didn't hit him just right, and Gibby didn't say a word. He just hauled off and whopped him and knocked him flat on his back. Old Lou got up and up through the field he come for home. That stopped him, but that was one of the humorous things that happened. Another time, we always used to have apples to take to school and stuff. So this particular night, I didn't eat my apple, and I would come out of the schoolhouse, and I was going to go up there and eat it. There was Earl Staker, and Lou Buck, and George Winnell. There was about 5 of them was after me, gonna take that apple away from me. About that time, Dad was coming down the road with a load of beets, and he was right there close when they was all wrestling after me to get that apple. He said, "Stop the team," and he said, "What the hell's going on?" I said, "These guys want to take my apple." And so Dad says, they all started running, "Get back here, come back here right now." He says, "Which one you want to be first?" He says, "Johnny, beat the hell out of that one." He made me beat the hell out of all 5 of them guys. One at a time.
Your dad made those down there.
They didn't dare challenge him either. That was one of the humorous things that happened. And a lot of others. Wes Skeen down here. He used to be the mischievous maker of the school. He'd do anything to make a big show. And if you there used to be a big stream of water go down there, and a big hole right there in front. And if he could get you over by that hole, boy, he'd slam you in that hole of water so quick you couldn't say scat. But he was mischievous. He was always doing something. That's what's your name's dad, Wes. But and on the other hand, he'd do anything for you if he liked you. If he didn't like you, you better leave town.
Who were your teachers, elementary teachers? You remember?
Mrs. Rigby was one of my first teachers. Nina Hadley. Hazel Peters never taught me.
Nina Hadley, she's related to some of them around here.
Nina Hadley was High and Ellie's. And she was Theo Smith's wife. She was sister to Hazel Peterson.
Theo Smith's not wife.
Theo Smith's wife was Nina Hadley.
Why wasn't her name Nina Smith?
Nina Smith.
Oh, really?
Yep. And she is full cousin to Lonnie.
She's not a lot older than you are, then, is she? I mean, she went
Oh yes. She's 5 years older than me.
Well, in terms of a school teacher, that's not.
Well, she did. She just got out of school and got into teaching. See,
Yeah.
and I don't remember all their names. Gibby was a teacher there. He was probably 8, 9 years older than me, maybe 10. He was a teacher there.
Nina taught me. She taught me in the 3rd grade.
And she was one of the best teachers. Hazel Peterson over here is a crab pot compared to Nina. Yep.
Yeah, Hazel. Yeah. She taught me in the first grade.
Something funny happened when Bud started school. Hazel was his teacher, the first grade, first year. And so when she was asking all the kids a little bit about themselves, she got to Bud and she asked him what his name was, and she says, Bud, Favero. And Hazel kept questioning him. Finally she says, are you sure it isn't Lorenzo? Well, yeah, but they call me Bud, that's what I go by. And so then she asked him how old he was. Or no, when his birthday was. And he didn't know. She made Bud walk clear home and back to find out his birthday. And Bud hated her and hates her to this day.
I don't blame him.
A lot of crazy things happen.
Okay, I think I got most of everything here.
Oh, I could think of them all. I could tell you stories about that school for the next 10 years.
That school, by the way, was the school that I went to kindergarten in. No, my first grade. Yeah, Hazel's my second grade teacher. First grade, and that's when they closed the school.
Melba was the school lunch lady down there. Old Mrs. Hayes used to be when we was school lunch. And she used to make soup at home and bring it up on the sleigh.
Minnie Hayes?
Hmm?
Minnie Hayes?
Minnie Hayes is husband's father.
Mother?
Mother, yeah. Minnie Hayes' husband's mother. Old Walt Hayes lives down there on the corner, just below Taylor Ward Steak Farm, right on the corner of the big old red brick house.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready. Okay,
Jordan has one.
Jordan?
Can I ask yours? You guys set your name out. Set your name.
What kind?
I'll read it because this is a hard one to read. You pretty much answered this one. I don't know if you want to add anything to this or not, Grandpa. It says, what kind of extracurricular activities did you participate in school? What you've said, most of your sports and your games and stuff like that.
Spelling contests, even yet today. I used to win them hands down every time I'd get in one of them. And I used to make the other guys mad because I could spell them. I drive my friend crazy right now. She knows music, but there's a lot of things she doesn't know. Spelling, figures, and I was always good at math. We'll go in the store right now and she'll say, now if I buy 2 of these, how much? If I buy this and this, how much am I saving? And I'll tell her just like that, and it drives her crazy. But spelling, I was excellent at spelling. And my mind is still that active like it was then. I can hear a new word, somebody say a new word, and 9 times out of 10 I can spell that word just hearing somebody say it. But I used to get in the spelling bees. If one come up, I was in it. And anything that I always had to fight to survive. And the best way for me to survive was challenge all these things, challenge anything that come along, challenge any opportunity that I had to make myself look better. And it used to aggravate the Nielsen's and a bunch of those goofies from down on 4700 that nobody could get along with. And the whole damn bunch of them are all dead now. There's only one left, and that's Alda. The rest of them are pushing up daisies.
Okay, Andy, you got a question?
Well, I have a question. Did you have a favorite subject in school, or one that you dreaded?
I didn't like algebra. I could do something with arithmetic, but when you put 2 over so-and-so and something under, and then there was always something snuck in between, I didn't like that sneaking in between thing.
You ready to quit it?
Exactly how I felt about it.
Me too.
Was there one you liked?
You what?
Like English.
Did I what?
I think you answered and I missed it. Okay, tell about a frustrating experience then we'll modify it however, but tell about a frustrating experience you've observed on wash day.
On what?
On wash day. Like did you have a washing machine? Or did your mom have to do it by hand, or did you ever help her with that? And what was the outcome of the clothes?
In my mother's house, they had to be good or they went through again. When I was just a little kid, they had those little old scrubbing boards, and you did it by hand. Then you put them in the rinse tub. Then you put them in the boiler on the stove and boiled them out. So pretty soon along came another thing, and you put them in a tub, and it had the suction cup on. Put it in a tub, punch the dirt out of them. Then you took them out and rinsed them and wrung them out, and then put them in to go through the same process. But that came after the washboard. A lot of people use that. Then all of a sudden, the old wash machine with a lid, you'd lift the lid up, and it had a handle on it and a wheel, and you'd just handle it and it'd turn the plunger inside, and you'd have to do it by hand, hour after hour after hour. Me and Jim and Bud and Carl used to change shifts on wash day. I hated that. Well, pretty soon they got a motorized, a little gasoline motor on a wash machine. Dad bought one of them. Well, for about 2 years it run real good. Then that little bugger, and you had to pull a string to start it like you do the lawnmowers now. And sometimes you could spend 20 minutes trying to get that thing. And if you got a little water in the gas, then you'd have to drain it out and start over again. Lots of times you could get water in the gas when you was messing around the water there. And then after you got that done, well, on the old washboard, the old one, this one, they had a hand wringer on that one. But after you got the one with that motor on it, had a little belt going up to this. And you had to be careful you got your fingers in the belt to take your finger off. I got mine bent 2 or 3 times. But that old washing machine, it run good, like I said, for about 3 years. Then it began to give us trouble. So Dad took it up and had a guy fix it. And he fixed it all right. Never would run after that. So finally, as time went on, they come out with some of the modern washers, and Mother got one of those. Wash day was one hell of a day.
How often? Was it like once a week or?
Depends. When we were little, it was once a week, but when we got bigger, and when we went to high school, what we used to do? When Jim and I went to high school, we had one pair of pants, corduroy pants. You know what we'd do? We'd wear them for about 3 days, then we'd bring them home, and we'd get them on the ironing board. We'd take a big sponge and a brush, clean them and dry them out, and wear them for 3 or 4 more days. Then we'd sponge them off and then clean them. And we had one stinking pair of pants to wear to school, the first 2 years of school, high school. When we went to school down here to grade school, we wore bib overalls. You guys don't know what trouble is. Shit.
No, we don't.
Back to your school days, Dad.
Huh?
What did the inside of the schoolroom look like?
All around on the north room, on the south room, the heaters were all around by the windows in order to make it warm over there. But when I started school down there, they had a boiler downstairs in the back, and they had hot water heat radiators. And you'd be sitting there in school, everything nice and quiet, studying. One of those things, overload things, pop off and make your hair go straight up. You wasn't expecting it. But
Did you have the ABCs above the
they used to have different things. It depends on what class it was. ABCs for the little downstairs kids. Upstairs the bigger kids was, because they had to go up and down the stairs, didn't want them falling and tumbling. But they had blackboards, not on the outside walls, but on the end wall and around here. And they had a big stool sitting in the corner. If you goofed off, that's where you sat the rest of the day. Sometimes you
What
want
desks were there?
just regular desks with the inkwell and the place for your pencil and the place for your
Were
stuff.
they all attached?
They were screwed. They were put on long boards, 2 long boards, and they'd be in rows, so they could move them out to the side and hurry if they wanted to have something, some activity in the middle of the floor.
So like the bench or the seat in front of you was attached to your desk?
No. This desk here had the seat for the next guy in front of me, and then and his desk was the seat for, and they had them screwed down to boards so they could just move them around.
And the seat went up. It would actually flip
Yeah.
up. Yeah. I know because I went to those same schools. Exactly how they were, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
With the inkwell?
Sure. Inkwells were all there.
So you didn't use them, did you?
No, we didn't use them. We didn't use inkwells.
Did you use the inkwell?
Actually, we had them, and we had to.
I could write with those old style inkwells and pens, and your grandma Favero was an excellent penmanship person. She really wrote a good hand. Old Sonny Green taught her penmanship. And I used to make them do the exercises